What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys haven't seen the last video, be sure to go back and check it out. We finally turned over the K28 Type R engine in the Integra, and it sounds really good with the Revo exhaust system. Today we're going to try to button up the Integra. We're going to be diving into the AC setup, which needs to go in before the entire cooling system, and I've already got everything pulled up on my laptop right here on how to go about installing the Hybrid Racing AC line kit, and I just want to dive into it. To be honest, I came out here a little bit late today. It is 3:32 right now because I slept really late last night getting the Integra to turn on. If you guys saw me on Instagram, you guys probably know I was out late last night, and I woke up super late today and I had to catch up on Yellowstone. I've been binging on it super hard, and I watched like 3 episodes today, so we are out here a little bit late, but that's not gonna stop us from making a ton of progress, guys. Let's go ahead and pop the garage open and let's get cracking. So before I get started on the Integra, got a little side quest to do. Somebody sweep the shit out of my mom's car, and honestly I'm tired of fixing this thing, but for my mom's I'm gonna try to straighten this out a little bit. I do have touch-up paint for this car, same color code. I already tried to clay bar this right here and it came off a lot. If you guys look, it's more whiter over here and it's faded. I'm gonna try to polish it and see if that's the other car's paint, but I mean, worst case scenario, be a nice little paint project, huh? Ha, you wish. I'll be honest, it is 5:25 right now, guys, and my cousin just left with his mom. He came over here to pick up his mom because she went with my mom and aunt and stuff for Cambodia New Year like festival, and me and him, we were just kind of chopping it up for a cool ass minute because I don't get to see him often, so we were catching up, man. He goes way back with me. Also had sedans back in the days as well too, and you know, everybody kind of move on with life, and everybody moved far as well too, so we were just catching up a little bit and we lost a little bit of time. So before he pulled up though, I did kind of try to work on my mom's door just a little bit to get an idea. Sorry for the sun over there, but I polished out the door and took off a lot of the white that was on here like that, but I think the scratch mark is the scratch into the paint, to the clear coat. So I think what I'm end up doing with this later is I'm probably gonna like wet sand the door, or at least like half of it, right? Half of it. And then I'm gonna try to get as much of the scratch off, and then I'm going to dab in some paint to kind of fill it up, sand that flat all across the quarter as well, the molding, and then sand it again flat, and then polish the whole thing. I think that's what I'm gonna do. This van is already like super beat up, but at least make it somewhat presentable instead of, you know, T-Rex took a whole scratch to the side of the car there. So anyways, I'm gonna try to get back onto the AC system. I have everything laid out right here, all the stuff we're gonna be using and all the new stuff we're gonna be adding on to it. So old AC condenser right there, nothing was wrong with it. This thing had AC before it came to me, and we're just using that for the hardware and the mounting rubber, which I already took off of this old unit. We have a new one right here, and this also came from Rock Auto. I don't know if this is like a Denso piece or what, but let me see. Can't really see it, but anyways, it's a new condenser. Along with that, we have a new dryer right here, Denso dryer receiver, our number. We have the old unit because we need to pop the bracket off so we can get this put back into the car. We have a couple of lines here we're going to be reusing from factory. So we have this one right here that goes from the dryer, that goes all the way on the front of the core support, like so, or actually this way. No, it's this way. And then that line right there is going to connect to this factory smaller line. I think this is the low pressure side. I could be wrong, I'm not sure. But we got this one right here that's going to go to the unit on the firewall that connects to this long one. And then this one right here goes from the dryer, has an H on it, so high side, goes from the dryer and it goes to the condenser. I believe somewhere here like that, right? I'll show you guys obviously the installation. And then we have the hybrid unit where we have the low side line. I believe this one goes from the compressor up and over here. That's going to connect to this one that's going to go to the unit on the firewall. So this one's going to go something like that, right? And then we have the other line that goes to the compressor that comes off the which way is it? This one comes off the AC unit, the compressor, to the condenser. So I think it goes like this, and then this side loops over, goes to the compressor. We're going to show you guys obviously a thorough installation of every part, because I know for sure fact we're going to have to bend these lines just a little bit, especially because we have the ABS unit in the way, and those two lines sits somewhere right here. So that's going to be the challenging part in today's task. But with that being said, let's go ahead and start with the simple stuff: the dryer, condenser, and the lines to the dryer. We need this bracket. Ooh, damn, that thing's got a lot of dirt and rocks inside of it. We do have some new O-rings right here. That's freaking awesome. If I need to twist this around, we don't have the bumper on, so I could just loosen up the 10mm bolt and move the dryer to line up with the lines. Next up is this factory line right here that goes from the dryer all the way across to the passenger side. We're going to be changing out the O-ring right here because we have one provided with the dryer kit. Here's a new one. Now obviously, if you didn't take off the AC line like I did on this Integra, this line should still be connected on your radiator support. New O-ring. This is the second line to the dryer, the high pressure side, and it has the sensor. We're going to be installing this one next. Pop this O-ring off, put the new one on. There you go. This ground wire right here, I need to put a ring terminal on it so I can bolt it back up to the core support. Next thing going up here is the condenser, and I just want to double check to make sure if there are O-rings in here. I don't think we have any O-ring, boys. I don't think we have any replacement O-rings, so it looks like we're just gonna have to use the O-ring that's currently on the lines itself, which is this one here. And I'm almost certain the HR lines have some new O-rings on it as well. Let me double check here. Yep, this one has an O-ring on it. This is a bigger, much larger. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so I guess the only O-ring we're not gonna have is this one here. Let's get this installed. We have the rubber grommets right here at the bottom. Pretty straightforward. The top of the AC condenser uses this bracket right here with 2 bushings, and it bolts up to the core support. Condenser installed. This one right here is the high pressure line that goes to the dryer we installed earlier. Secured. Next up, we got to put this factory line back in. This is, I believe, the low side. It's the much smaller diameter, and this is going to be a little tricky because we have to snake it around the passenger side frame rail, around the ABS and the K series. Also taking note that both these 10 mils are 2 different length. Long one goes on top, high side, short one, low side. By the looks of it, I think this line goes way lower, so it's going to literally go in between the timing cover and the frame rail. So let me try to snake that through real quick. So the low pressure side, I had to bend it quite a bit to kind of get it to go where I needed to go. So right here we have it bolted up to the core, snaked around right here. I'm gonna bend the line just a little bit more just so I could get it away from the valve cover just a little bit, like that. Goes over the mount. I bent this into a U, and then I bent this connector, which originally was pointing like this. I bent it that way to connect the 2 together. Hopefully I didn't bend too much of the line, and that right there is connected. Let's go ahead and move over to the high pressure side, the bigger line that connects there. Again, on the Hybrid Racing website, it gives you the full tutorial on the DC Integra HR AC kit. All the reds is what we took out, all the greens is what we kept, which we just installed all of them. And now we need to get to installing the HR line, where line number 1 is an aluminum hard line. This line attaches to the firewall to line number 2. So this is line number 1 right here, and line number 2 has that black hose that goes to the compressor. Number 1 AC line. Let's get this installed. I think this is also the line that needs a little manipulating to fit correctly. So it looks like it sits like this. Okay, this might actually interfere with the other line I just bent into place. Yeah, that is that is way off, my boy. What in tarnations? If you guys look, it's literally not even like remotely close. So a lot of the write-ups, people are saying that you have to bend this hard line, so we're gonna do that. And then the other weird part is how high this part right here sticks up. Granted, that's our only case scenario because of the ABS unit, but it looks like we might have to bend it down as well too, because it might protrude through the hood. I'm not a big fan of how much we need to manipulate the hard line to get it to fit around everything. If it's already a custom line, it should have like fitted perfectly, you know what I mean? but granted, we have the ABS in the way. So we bent the lines right here to clear the battery tray. All the holes line up so we can put the battery tray on without compressing or touching the hard lines too much. Now right here I had to bend it just a little bit because it was interfering with the fuse box, and right now it's currently touching the valve cover, but if I pull it in, it pulls it away. But I just don't like the tension. If I don't touch it, it's touching the valve cover on 2 points of the valve cover. So before I decide I'm going to bend this line, I need to figure out where the compressor line lines up with this to see where we can maneuver it. So the next line here is the number 2 line, which is this one right here. Soft line from hard line to compressor. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt this end right here to the compressor to see where this lands. Some of the write-ups and videos on YouTube, people were saying that you have to twist the line to get it to line up with the hard line over there. So let's see what that's about. Oh, look at this. You guys see this? Like, where are you going, dude? Where are you going? So I guess this is what we have to twist to kind of line it up, and by the looks of it, yeah, that is way too high. That is way too high. All right, so this is gonna take some finessing to do here. I'm really not liking this line kit. When I'm twisting the line to match up to the hard line here, it's got all these bindage going on, and I don't want to like have any future problem with this right here. So the ABS unit is really giving me a hard time right now, and I can only bend this aluminum line so much. I don't want to kink it, I don't want to tear into it, and I'm really at a standstill right now. Before we move forward with anything else, I need to situate this. I tried moving the fuse box to see if I can like reposition it or something. This might have worked, but this twist in the line, I'm not comfortable with that. So let's chip away at it. This hard line is pissing me off. Trying to be as transparent as possible, man. If you have ABS, it's a little tricky to get this line to fit. So I kind of got it where I'm okay with it, because there's not much other solution I have right now. So I knew my dad had this little pipe bender in the backyard, so I went digging for it and I found it. And then what I did was I took the torch, I heat up the aluminum, and I bent the angle that I needed right here. I don't know if you guys can see that little angle on the top right there. And I'm not happy on the attempts that I did previously before this, where I kinked up the line pretty good, but nothing gouged in, and I didn't collapse the tube at all, and I got everything connected earlier. And then I didn't like how the hard line was like really close to the frame rail as well as the valve cover, so I went to go find the other line that we're not needing that came out of the car. I cut the loom off of it, this foam thing, and then I glued it back together so it looks OEM now. It sits like this, and now it looks OEM. And all the gouges and stuff, I did clean it up, and you're not going to be able to see it at all, other than right here on the nut part. You're really not going to notice it. So I'm going to go ahead and just put everything back together and show you guys how this looks before we move on to the last line. The last line that's right here. Might be a little hard for you guys to see, but I have the hood kind of closed right now, and we have like a good 2-inch gap from the AC line to the top of the hood. So I think we'll be okay for how high it's sticking up. And yeah, I don't think we'll have a problem. Okay, so the last line on the hybrid racing kit right here is soft line to compressor from condenser. That's what it says right there on the label. So this goes on the condenser right there. It loops around and goes into the compressor right there. So let's do that. Need this 10 mil right here. So I got the bushing aligned into the hole on both sides, but if I try to pull the condenser back, it's like binding with the line. So it looks like I might have to bend this line a little bit as well, because it's literally resting on the headlight mounting tab right here. Crazy to say, the hybrid line is literally resting on the alternator right there, and it's got this large loop that goes down. I did bend that out a little bit, so we are clear from the headlight tab, and it goes into the condenser right there. If I didn't have any trouble trying to install the high side hard line to the firewall, this kit would have been easy to install, but this guy right here kicked my butt. A little bit of altering right here, but nonetheless, the Hybrid Racing AC line kit is installed, and I think the next thing on the list to do is to extend the compressor wire on the B series. It's on this side, so I believe it's this red one. We need to extend this single wire right here all the way to the passenger side, which connects to this red wire, and this thing doesn't even have a plug on it. So I need to figure out how to make a connection so that way it's just not an open terminal. And then once we do that, we're gonna have to go into the car to wire up the relay for the AC setup. As a car builder, this is why it's important to have a bin of like electrical stuff, a bunch of like new old wires, a bunch of clips and plugs. I've cut off harnesses and part out cars throughout the years. And look at this. This is the plug we need for the compressor side. Literally a red wire, just like the one that's currently sitting right here, right? Show you guys, this is the same plug. This is even the same plug for the VTEC solenoid on the B series, in case you guys didn't know. And if you look, this should plug right in. Actually, before I even plug it in, I want to show you guys the opposite side. Look, identical plugs, right? So this is the side we need for the compressor. Should clip right in. Oh, double grommet. We got one right there and one inside there. Should plug right in. Walla walla bing bang. Okay guys, so we got the kick panel open and we have the factory ECU plugs exposed, because this is where we're going to be wiring up the AC relay to. And it says it on the instruction, stock ECU plugs. This is a stock ECU plug. So relay provided by Hybrid Racing. I've already put a ring terminal on the ground wire, and we still have to wire in 3 wires right here to the ECU plugs. And because I don't have the T-taps, I am just gonna wire in a pigtail to the factory ECU wiring, and then I'm gonna solder it, and then I'm gonna test the tape it fully closed, and then it'll still be disconnectable with the spade connectors right here. So I did my research, and again, if you're doing a 96 to 99 OBD2A, this portion right here is for your chassis. If you're 2000, 2001 Integra, your pinouts different. If you're an EG or an EK, your pinouts are also different. So we're gonna go ahead and track and trace the wires we need for key on, the ACS, and the ACC. We have a stud right here that we can use for a grounding point. This bracket is bolted to the chassis, and I'm almost certain that it is all making a connection. I'm gonna double check it right now with continuity. So I'm gonna put the ground on chassis, and then I'm gonna touch this stud. It should beep. So most definitely I can use that as a grounding source. The ground wire on the relay is the yellow wire, and again, I've already put a ring terminal on there. So that is going to be bolted to the stud with a 10mm nut. On the relay, slot 85, white wire right here is for 12-volt key on. So we need a 12-volt source where the key is in the on position, and when the key is off, there should be no 12-volt available. If you guys don't have Honda base on your phone, download it. It has all the tech information on here, like ECU pinouts. So we're 98, we have an OBD2A ECU pinout, and I'm looking down right here on A24 is a power source. It is a yellow and black wire. I'm gonna go ahead and double check we have 12-volt in that slot. A plug would be this big gray plug right here, and we're looking for slot A24, which is A24 is middle row, the very last wire right here. Middle row, last wire. This wire is a yellow black, so I'm gonna go ahead and test this to see if we have 12-volt with key on ground chassis. So right now, key off, we got 0 volts. I'm gonna put it into the on position, and we got 12 volts. Again, this is for OBD2A Integra 96 to 99 A24. So on this wire, I'm probably gonna splice it 2 inches from the pin. I'm gonna take the pigtail right here, I'm gonna twist it into that wire, yellow black. A little bit of flux to kind of help melt the solder and wire rather than sitting on it for too long. Put some tape on the joint so it's not exposed. All right, that's our first wire, 12-volt key on, A24. Next wire is slot 86. That is the black wire right here. This is for the ACS. And again, for this chassis, it's gonna be on pin C5, blue red wire. I wanna say it's the blue plug right here. And we're looking for C5 C5 is blue red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The wire in that slot is definitely a blue red right here, blue red. And again, that's for ACS 96 to 99, 2 inches back. I'm gonna splice it. Look at that, less than 5 seconds. Last wire right here is slot number 30, and this is the blue wire for ACC. Again, 96 to 2000. Slot is going to be A17 AC controller, black red wire. A17 black red wire. Back to the A plug. It's going to be the middle row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A plug, middle row, 6 slot. And there you guys have it, the hybrid racing relay kit wired into the factory ECU plug. Go ahead and clean up your wiring, tuck everything away.